All right, and welcome to the September PUC Task Force Lunch and Learn for the Colorado 911 program. Today, we're happy to have Ryan Hurley and Roger Brasino here from Replay Systems. They're going to talk about QA in the 911 center, and we're excited to have them here. As always, the only official record of this meeting is the one that we will put out by our recording on the PUC YouTube channel. And I will turn it over to our guests. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you in Loveland in May. And through just various connections, we are happy that we got in touch to understand that you guys do this every month. I think that's an awesome thing. I wish a lot of other states that we work in did the same thing, but we value everybody's time, excited to be here, regardless of the size crowd. Happy that you're going to be putting this out on YouTube. So hopefully there'll be chances for us to reconnect with, the folks here today and others that are not. But for those of you who are with us, my name is Ryan Hurley. I'm the president of Replay Systems. My coworker here, Roger Brasino, is vice president, sales and marketing. And we are here to introduce you to Replay Systems and our Illuminate 911 platform. We currently work with a couple of agencies in the state of Colorado. We partner with Converge One, who some of you might already work with or are talking to or are familiar with, and they are helping us with our expansion into the state of Colorado. So just to take a step back there a moment. Today's presentation, Illuminate 911, you see the title here. It's about leveling up your QA. Our platform really helps with a streamlined, insightful approach to doing QA, and it's all completely customizable, tailored for each individual PSAP. So when we do our presentation today, it's going to be a combination of just some slide deck information and our actual live demo lab environment that we have to show you. This is a comprehensive software hardware platform for QA and for metadata capture, or what you could call voice logging. Because as we know, the foundation of doing QA is capturing the audio and the metadata associated with the 911 and radio equipment. So we'll just kind of get into the different approaches that we can take. So whether you are, currently content with your voice logging or QA system, it's always great to see what else is out there. We're excited to just explain our approach today. And just keep in mind that our solution can either just be purposed as a QA only product. And the benefit that you would get if you already have a recording system today that you're happy with is that our solution would just be running in parallel, capturing your audio and metadata for the purpose of it all being comprehensively inside our QA solution for the reporting and evaluation workflows. So yes, we are founded as a recorder, but you can look at this just as a QA solution too. So just a little bit about Replay Systems before we get into some of the meat of the presentation. Our approach has always been to be very customer centric, meaning we know that every PSAP has individual needs, workflows, operations, and our software tool and our organization are really built to support PSAPs and tailoring an implementation and an ongoing support, especially when it comes to the QA. So when you think of us, you think of how would I lean on experts to really help build a QA program that specifically meets my agency's needs. We've been in business since 1996, family owned and operated, and we provide services nationwide. So our largest strength is in the Southeast. So if you haven't heard of us before today, it's because we are, over the last couple of years, quickly expanding throughout the nation as this Illuminate platform becomes more easy to deploy remotely. And as we have partnerships, like I mentioned, with Converge One that allow us to do some pretty streamlined on-site installation and collaborate together throughout project management, installation, and support. So been in business for over 30 years with our complete focus always being on supporting those who support public safety. So PSAPs is our bread and butter. We have over 250 clients and are extremely knowledgeable when it comes to integrating with the various platforms that PSAPs can have when it comes to their 911 radio and even CAD equipment. And then as it relates to the QA sector, we have been providing QA software and independent QA services for over 10 years now. We are recognized as the largest independent um, provider of customized QA programs. And we haven't updated this, we've probably done over 250,000 evaluations for our customers. And I'll get into that in a little bit as far as how that's working with either people using our tool um, to do their own QA or having a combination of outsourcing or us supplementing what they're doing internally to help them meet their numbers. So by implementing our tool over these last few years, we've learned a great deal through our experience. And a lot of what you see here is this is how we're helping PSAP. So by implementing this Illuminate tool and really getting the QA configured the way that people want to be customized for their PSAP, it's helping them reduce the time spent on reporting. So after the QA evaluations are done, now I want to go find some data. We're going to show you some really awesome dashboards and reporting tools that come with the Illuminate platform. Now, by doing that, supervisors are spending more time doing valuable work. Now, all work is obviously valuable inside the center, but what we're designed to do and what the tool is designed to help us all do is take the burden away from a lot of work up front to find calls you're looking for and doing evaluations, having supervisors just stuck behind a seat and let them use their knowledge and expertise to really spend more time engaging with staff. Spend more time one-on-one coaching or working with the training division to do everything that they can to work hand in hand to improve the performance of whether it's new employees or long-term staff. So this tool is also going to help you perform more QA. So that's also an issue, right, that we come into is that we have standards and guidelines that we want to meet, goals we want to meet, and sometimes with our internal staff, really challenging to hit those numbers. So those are what we're doing to help PSAPs today with this tool. And just to kind of summarize what Illuminate 911 is that it is an all-in-one QA/QI recording platform. So we've also learned that it's imperative when you're doing QA to also have very easy access to the audio metadata, CAD incident data. So that's where we really kind of separate ourselves and become very unique is that we are experts on the technology, the integrations, and then building the actual QA software for customers to use for themselves. So these four prongs are kind of the four things that make up that's under this single hood. You got the audio metadata capture, the QA, detailed reporting and dashboards, and everything that comes with us is all inclusive under one single agreement and maintenance and support plan that includes updates to the software as well.
Yeah, so based on what Ryan just said, Illuminate is pretty much a comprehensive metadata capture solution. If you look at your 911 center, obviously you use multiple mission critical communication systems, right? You have your CAD, you have your radio system, your phone system, your GIS, you have your recorder. But one thing that is unique about your recording system that a lot of people sometimes don't notice is that your recorder is one of those systems that is actually connected to most of your other systems. So as a recording system, we connect with your radio, we connect with your phone system, we can also connect with your CAD and GIS. We also even have rapid SOS integrations. And what that allows us is when we were doing QA and we started about doing it 10 years ago, we noticed that gap where yeah, and your agency, you're pulling your recordings, but before that, you have to go and pull your CAT sheet, find which calls you want to evaluate, to then look date and time on your recording system. And then once you find those, use an Excel sheet or a third system or third-party system to perform your QA evaluations. Does that sound about right? I hope that you guys are shaking heads somewhere behind the screen. So what we do is, since we know the system and we know these integrations, we integrate with all of them, including the CAT. So the CAT integration is one of the most powerful ones because that allows us to pull the metadata out of your CAT, incident ID, incident type, and I'll touch a few of those a little more in depth through our presentation. And that gives us the ability to automate and take all of that work out of your shoulders. We had an agency in Tennessee that when we were doing the presentation with them, they were like, yeah, it takes us 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes because they do in-house, okay? So they have a team of 3 evaluators and they rotate some of their call takers to perform evaluations. And they were telling us that it takes them 45 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes to retrieve all of these calls for the day. And then when we show them this, like, no, all of this is going to be automated and in front of you. So now you're saving that time back into your day. That being said, so normally this is kind of like the roadmap for a QA evaluation, right? So normally, by the time you go to the start sign right here, you have to do all of those manual tasks, right? So in our case, the system already, selects the calls for a review, okay? And then from there, what we have here, our QAE is Replay QA Evaluator, so that we log in into the system, or you log in into the system, whichever you prefer. Complete the evaluation feedback and all the comments. And then once that evaluation is done, a notification is sent to the operator. So the operator reviews this evaluation, okay? And this is kind of like, obviously, right, here I have it compressed into my screen, but what they do is they receive a kind of like a PDF format of what the evaluation looked like. It tells them what's the score, what percentage of the evaluation accounts for, what KPI they're looking at. Are they looking at CAT skill? Are they looking at communication skill, et cetera, and how much did they score? They have the ability to digitally sign this from their email, and that gets sent back to their recording system. So their recording system holds everything in one place. Now, another neat thing that we have is, again, obviously, QA is nothing without doing the quality improvement. So for QI, we have coaching modules. We have about 240, 250 coaching modules that are sent out automatically. And when we build this, we build them based on your SOP. So again, very granular and very specific to your agency protocols. So what this does is, this doesn't take away the coaching that you're going to have as a trainer or a supervisor, but it's more of a, hey, we noticed you make this little mistake. Here are our procedures. And once they get that, you get communication on your recording system stating, yes, they received this coaching module. So that just shortens that time frame from evaluation to initial coaching. So then from there, we give the ability so that they can appeal the evaluation. If they, they want to appeal, yes, we review and it gets a reconsideration. And normally we connect with someone at your agency just to verify that you guys are fine with this reconsideration. And then the evaluation gets finalized. Once the evaluation is finalized, you have the data real time, and the supervisor has access to all of the reports for training and improvement. Okay, so based on that, the feedback loop is completed. By the way, I forgot to say, if you have a question, we know this deck left and right. We know this demo fully. So feel free to raise your hand. We'll stop momentarily and answer any questions. I think it's imperative and important for us to, if you have something in a specific, we'll love to answer for you, okay? So don't wait until the end. You can stop us at any time. So now let's talk about the technology itself, okay? I'm sure that everyone here, or most of you, have seen screen capture or screen recording. This is the most basic tool for QA, and we use screen capture many years ago consistently when it comes to the CAT review process of your APCO and NINA standards.
Hey, Roger, I don't know if you can see hands up, but we do have a
Apparently
question.
not. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm going to go
I'll,
to that other
I'll
screen.
keep you honest on that. I should have recognized that. Michael Berry from Summit County. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon. Sorry, I figured I'd take him up on his offer.
Go
One
for it.
question as we get through this, you've got employees logging in who have access to the recordings with phones, radios, CAD data, screen recordings. Are they CGIS trained and certified to have unescorted network access?
Great question. We're going to get to it, but yes, absolutely. We do FBI background checks, CJ's level 4, and we even have agencies that require fingerprinting, and we do all of them and more.
Yep, we'll go over in just a few minutes. We'll get to the point, Michael, where we have the experience qualifications, certifications, security measures we take with these expert evaluators that we assign to accounts.
Very good. So a couple things that I want to notate here when it comes to screen recording is that, first of all, if you haven't done it, normally the maximum retention period is 90 days for obvious reasons. The biggest problem you have with screen capture or screen recording is the amount of storage that it takes. So you have to have very clear policies on how long you keep that and what is the purpose of your screen recording, which normally is the QA. So I'm going to dive now into the demo so I can show you the screen recording here and talk a little bit more about it. So this is our recording QA tool. Again, it's an NG911 I3 compliant recording system, but we call it it's when it comes to QA. So what you see on my screen right now, like any other recording system, you're going to see your WAV file. But you see this very colorful bar at the top. This is called application timeline. What this does is it tracks the movement of the mouse throughout the different screens. So you can tell what was your evaluator, or I'm sorry, your call taker doing throughout the call without looking at the screen. Somebody asking a question? I want to pause here for a second. No? Okay. Obviously, we have a 1920 by 1080 screen compressed here into the middle of my screen, which is your screen capture. You can obviously go full screen and it'll open a second monitor, right? And normally it is divided here in this size because normally you're going to have 4, 3, so it'll actually be sized to your screen, okay? So I'm going to play this call really quick, just so you understand what you're going to see on the screen is you're going to see these little arrows. These are tags that our evaluators do, or your evaluators can do at your agency performing evaluations, and they're spoken tags. So they're going to tell you kind of what is happening throughout the call, okay? So screen capture is we do snippets. So every 3 or 4 seconds, we take a screenshot of the screen. So it's not a full recording, and what we show you is with lines, how is the mouse moving throughout the screen. Okay, so I'm going to play this call. You're going to have some audio.
Central Message.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think the house is on fire.
Where at, sir?
Shepherd Road.
Address verification.
Shepherd Road.
They're across from me, 138 South Shepherd Road.
Second address verification.
138 South Shepherd Road.
Right.
Do you know if anybody's inside?
No lights are on.
No lights are on. Can you see flames?
Yes. Bunch of them. The car just pulled in.
Very good. So again, you guys get the idea. Pretty much that's a mock-up of a CAD integration, okay, or a CAD. So so again, pretty much we show with lines how they're moving throughout the screen, et cetera, and they're about 3 to 4 seconds. Again, this is the most heavily used for the second KPI for the APCO and ENA standards, which is the CAD input or CAD information. I'm going to go back to my deck again.
That's right, and we like it because it allows the people that are doing the review process to have a more total view of the interaction of the 911 call taker. Instead of just listening to audio, we can now actually see how they're navigating their screen. We can also verify some information on the screen as well. So it does supplement and help us do the reviews when it comes to all the whole full comprehensive questions on a form.
Exactly. So the next one is real-time monitoring. Others call it instant recall, right? But we have a very neat tool if you have screen capture on your real-time monitor. First of all, you get instant alerts because you're listening to them live as they're sitting on their stations. And it gives you the ability to do some proactive management. So I'm going to go back to my deck right now. If you see here at the top, I have multiple tabs. These are all customizable. I have created them myself. And these are just based on what I want to have on my screen. By the way, remember that we said this is very granular. I can give access to your call takers only for their calls of their shifts or only their evaluation calls so they can listen to it. We can literally tune this system to every single individual or every single level that you want. So I'm going to go to my monitor right here at the top. And this is my live monitoring. If there's a call that is active, it's going to say active here on the left. So let's say that I'm listening to Joyce, and Joyce is a new employee. So we want to give her the floor so she can have the confidence to perform her task by herself. But we want to make sure that we're still listening and looking at what she's doing. So as I'm listening to her call, I can click on this little thing that says view screen, and I can see live exactly what she's doing and to it at the same time. So now the same thing as having a supervisor sit behind her, but simultaneously, we're giving her the space to, trust herself that she can do the job. Okay. So this is only
Right, Roger. And I just wanted to add something here where if you go back to the previous screen of the live monitor page, I'm sorry, no, on the actual live demo,
coming.
where it has the list of, active, inactive.
Hold on one second.
So as you're doing that live monitoring, one of the really neat parts about this in our demo is that you can perform an evaluation straight from there. So he showed you the icon of where you can look at the live screen capture as you're listening to the audio. But let's say as far as part of your maybe daily observation reports or just wanting to have a subset of evaluations on new call takers, you can straight from this page see, what, this is the perfect type of call that I want to grade, this employee on. So you don't need to go back out to the main interface, find the call, do stuff. You can end up scheduling it straight from here, pick the appropriate QA form, and boom, you're off and running with an evaluation completed just from your live monitor view.
Yes, and this is kind of how the evaluation looks like. Normally, it'll have a lot of metadata right here at the top because of the CAD integration. So we'll get into it in a second. It's divided by the different KPIs. And obviously, we score each of those individually, and then we give you an overall score as well. I just noticed that when I exit out of that, I exit out of my demo completely. So let's see. And let's do it again. All right, here it is. All right, very good. I'm going to go back to my presentation. All right, excellent. Any questions in regards to real-time monitoring? Ryan, you tell me if you see any hands raising, okay? Then let's talk about the CAD integration. So this is by far my favorite integration. I'm a big data geek, and I love to build reports and analyze. And I think this is the most powerful integration you can have on your recording system and the most powerful integration when it comes to quality assurance. So a couple of things to understand is not all manufacturers are built the same. So manufacturers can charge you different amounts of money for the integration. Now, our CAD integration is normally pretty straightforward. It's a $3,100 setup. And the development times, it can take 30 to 60 days. Most of the major manufacturers, we already have integrations. All we got to do is we share with you, hey, these are the metadata fields that we think are important, and these are the ones most commonly used. And you decide if you want to add anything else additional to it, okay? So with the CAD integration is the tool that is required in order to have automation, okay? And also allows you to pinpoint those evaluations that you want to do no matter what. So normally we said, hey, if you're going to do a QA program, we say that NINA and APCO standards state that you got to do 1 or 2% of your calls, or maybe 4 to 5 evaluations per employee per month, right? But then there are going to be those additional calls that are not random, that you say, hey, maybe we got to do CPR calls, and maybe we got to do armed robberies. So we can add those into the system to populate. So let me show you kind of how it looks on the CAD integration here on the system. So I'm going to go where it says CAD right here at the top on my tab. Oh, I have a widget open. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, what the CAD integration is really going to do is empower the system to categorize calls for you, so that you can then, whether it's taking a random sample or doing a ad hoc targeted review, you can really quickly find those types of calls that you are targeting for evaluation purposes.
Exactly. So here at the top, all these tabs are all the different pieces of metadata that we're capturing from not only your CAD, but from your phone system as well. So we have your station name, we have date and time, what kind of responder. But then as we move to the right, you're going to see some additional pieces of information. The city, the time the call closed, jurisdiction, CAD incident ID, CAD incident type. So just to give you a few examples on how this can improve operations in your center and speed up everything. Today, if you're getting an open records request, just as an example, and someone says, hey, I need you to pull this call. Okay, what is the date and time of this call? And then you got to search, based on date and time, right? Well, with the CAD integration, what that will do is you just go and you ask him, what's the incident ID? You type that incident ID, and any calls that are connected to that incident ID, it'll show up. Same thing if you're looking for a specific, hey, we want to see all the calls for cardiac. You can look for that incident type and retrieve all of them based on the date and time period as well if you want to. So another thing that is, CAD nodes. You can pull CAD nodes and then search just for specific keywords as well. So this is what we use in order to automate our QA solution. On the top of that, you can come and let's say today you sit down on your station and these are all the calls for today. You want to see what your agents are doing. So every single piece of metadata up here is searchable and you can build a report with. So I can grab and say, you know what, let's say by station name. So I drag, I'm holding my left button on my mouse and I'm going to drag it where it says drag a column header here and drop it to group. So I just drop in my station and now I'm going to drop responder. Those are my two filters. You see at the bottom, I now have a report. So I know Penelope, she has done nothing today. Margaret has taken 5 calls. Let me see what Margaret has done. I can click there and it tells me she took 1 police call, 2 ambulance, 2 fires. I can click on the police call and I can listen to it right here. So that's just a quick way to build a report and do something with the metadata. You want to find by city what type of calls they have done. You can go fire and then I'm going to look for city and I drag it there. Same thing. Oh, we got 7 calls for ambulance. I'm going to click there. Here are my different cities and how many calls we have taken for each of this. So this is from Tennessee, obviously. So again, that's just building reports on the fly, okay? Just from this system. Any questions?
That's great, Roger. And something I'll add is what we're basically demonstrating is the various ways that you can also get to an evaluation. So now we told you the foundation of this is a voice logging application. So yes, a lot of these tools can be used just to help streamline your process for finding audio recordings, right? But when we look at it from the QA perspective, between getting random samples so that when you log in, you can just like start doing reviews. there are going to be other times, like Roger mentioned, where you want to do some sort of targeted reviews, or if you got new employees, whatever. These are various routes that you can take to get to the evaluation point really easily. So as you build that report, narrow down the different types of calls, he found with Margot, for example, when he clicked on that type of call in the pie chart, you can open up that call to listen to and then grade it from there without reversing, going into different tabs, going into different screens. That's one of the things that we love about this platform, is everything being on the same screen and just continuing to click and dive into the recordings. You can just grade from all those places.
Exactly, exactly. So let me go back to my deck. I'm going to pause again, see if anyone has any questions in regards to the CAD integration.
I'll add that we've got 6 or so or more CAD integrations already in our price book, but that doesn't stop us from doing any new ones. In any given year, we do a handful of new CAD integrations every year with our software manufacturers development team. And, not always easy, but it's always well worth it to really just get the collaboration from your IT and from your CAD vendor to just understand how we can make that connection both securely and effectively, and pull in the data into our platform that we need to help the operation.
Exactly. So we keep talking about automation. Of course, that a lot of the automation is done more on the background, right? It's just not something that I can actually show you how we're going to set it up, but at least I can explain how this is going to help your agency improve and be more efficient. Well, one of the first things is the error reduction, right? So once we set these values on the recording, they're going to do it automatically. So you literally just sit in your station and then you just retrieve all the calls that you have to evaluate, or all evaluators get that report and they just start evaluating. Simple as that. That obviously makes your operations a lot faster and optimize the processes. So if you look at, I'm going to show you a quick example of how we can do an automation. I can come to Cynthia and I can right click on Cynthia's call. And I can say, you know what? I want to filter only Cynthia's call. All right. So I see that she has 4 calls here. You know what? This might not work as good because there's very few. I'm going to go to my default report here and I'm going to take Fernando and I'm going to filter only or single out Fernando. And now I'm going to say, we need for today to get a random sample of 5 calls for Fernando. All right. And then like this, we have other filters that help us. So this is fully randomized. Fernando had, I don't know, maybe 20 calls today, but it randomized only 5 calls. And this, what helps is to remove the bias out of the equation. Obviously, if you have a third party doing evaluations, it's a lot different because there's no bias, but this is an additional bias removal from your operations. So all these automations, what they do is make the job more efficient and speed up your QA processes. Brian, you want to add anything to this?
Oh, good there.
Very good. So now let's talk about the real-time analytics. You can do all of the evaluations in the world, and if you don't have a very comprehensive report or analytics, and you don't follow up with some sort of training and coaching, then we're wasting our time, right? The main reason why we're doing QA is to help our telecommunicators improve and grow, okay? It's not a punishing tool. It's not a tool just to show them what they're doing wrong. It's just a tool to help them grow and get better at what they do, because the job that they do is not to be taken lightly, right? So our train analysis, the Illuminate systems on the train analysis is a full solution that has all the metadata for all of the calls, all of the evaluations, all your CAD metadata goes into our Illuminate solution. So you see right here at the top that it says Illuminate, right? So you click there and that takes you to our dashboard. So this is going to be a personalized dashboard that has all the information when it comes to your QA program. We have noticed throughout the years that our two main things that we want to observe when we're doing the evaluations. One of them is top deviation by frequency, and the other one is top deviation by impact. Although both could show the same data, they perform a little bit different. Frequency is how often are your evaluators making this mistake, okay? But that doesn't mean that those mistakes are hurting your scores the most. So they could be making a mistake often, it is not hurting your scores the most. You know, if they don't verify the address, that literally fails that portion of the evaluation, right? So that's why we have top deviation by impact. So this one tells you, this is where you need to put your efforts to improve your scores the most. And this is where you need to put the efforts to, you know, fix that problem that is happening that often. Some of the other...
I would say it helps our customers identify the combination of eliminating the frequency of errors, but then also making sure that you are spending adequate time focusing on the most important aspects of your call taking process. So when you couple those things together, you're going to be able to address the vast majority of your problems.
And we continue to improve this tool every month. We're coming up with something else we're going to add to it. I'm going to show you a couple other pieces of the tool because this is just your home dashboard. You notice the rest of the information, you have your average score per evaluation. You can select all the evaluations, or you can select just in a specific one, how many evaluations you have performed this month, who are your top and who are your bottom operators, et cetera, et cetera. Ryan, you want to add anything else to this dashboard before I move into the charts?
Yeah, I'll just reiterate that every single widget, if you will, on the screen is all customizable from a filter of date range and the type of form. So if you have a police, a fire, and an EMS call taking form, you can look at everything as a whole from a scoring or deviations perspective, or you can really hone in on one specific type of call to see how your agents are performing.
Exactly. So now I'm going to show you one of the other reports, and I think this is my favorite. I like this one better than the dashboard, and that's my own preference, okay? Again, remember I told you that I love data. So let me see, let's select, I'm going to select from March to maybe, I'm going to do July. So this is kind of the same report that we saw on the dashboard that talks about the incident question frequency and the deviation or question impact. Now, what is different about this report is this one is showing every single one of the questions from your forms that it was answered as a no, or they didn't ask, or it was responded incorrectly, right? So now we use a Pareto model, which is the 80-20 models. I know there are multiple 80-20s. This one, the way it works is, if you concentrate your efforts on 20% of your most pressing issues, you will improve, you know, in this curve, right? So for example, on the incident question impact, if you put your efforts on the incomplete information added into the CAD, you will improve about 19% of your most pressing issues, right? Now, if you do this too, which is phone skills, the second one, you'll be improving about 37% of your most pressing issues. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions here?
And I'll ask you to scroll down to the bottom of this page as I add something, Roger. So our lab or demo environment doesn't include all of the information that a true customer deployment would. But all this is now showing you your highest impact questions that are missed. So as a supervisor who logs in and is looking at this chart, yes, you're looking at the questions that you need to pay attention to, but now you can also dig into the operators who deviated, what those incident numbers were that were associated with, and any of the section comments that were put on by the person that evaluated it. So you're getting a quick little insight into the highest impact moments here and those people and incidents that were associated with it. So this is just giving you again, this is also real time. So you could be using these charts for this week, today, as evaluations are completed in the system, they're instantaneously available here in the fully integrated reporting tools. But yeah, we just wanted to create this, and it's continuing to evolve to really be a application that is very easy to use, doesn't require a lot of training. You basically have to learn how to log in and read the reports and use your filters, and then all the data is there in front of you for you to take action on. So want to help customers have quick and easy access to information that will help them deliver coaching or training on the back end.
That's right.
And you've got a hand up, Michael Berry.
Go ahead, Michael.
Hello again. On those, that deviation, that improvement, 80-20 graph, is there any kind of weighting involved there? Some questions may be
Yes, sir.
important than others.
Yes, sir. It is. So normally the weight that we normally place on these forms, they come from the NINA and APCO standards. So for example, address verification, I think it weights like 80% of the evaluation. If they make a mistake there, that portion is completely failed, right? So, but it is also adjustable based to your standards and your SOP. So we can weight them, percentage wise or 1 to 10. All of that is also variable.
Yeah. So Michael, the frequency chart that we were showing previously is just not taking into account what the value of those questions were. It's just showing you how often those questions were missed. The impact chart is based on the weight of each question.
Exactly.
So the ones that are showing to the furthest left on that chart were the ones that, based on the amount of times they were missed and based on the weight of those questions, they're showing as your most impactful value deviations.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm going to go
to those bars are kind of showing you like the total score of those questions being missed. So that's all. That's all I wanted to add, Roger. You continue.
I keep going back and forth. So this right here. So again, you have multiple reports. You have everything from QA question analysis. This is the brains of the system. This one has every single question that is in every single piece of metadata and comments on this form. I'm not going to pull that one because it's massive. But
we've almost done that question analysis report for some of those data geeks that we know and love out there. They wanted to be able to export that data to Excel and do some of their fun manipulation of the data to look at them themselves. So we put that in there as a report. It's not usable to the common person who's just logging in and wants to get some quick insight, but to those that love to export to CSV Excel and then do some digging, we have all that available in the system so that you have access to all your data.
Exactly. And then, this is another very short report. It just shows you all of your operators and, how many evaluations they had. Out of the evaluations, how many evaluations they have with deviations, what is the deviation count, and then what is the percentage from the total deviations. So that also gives you a picture of what your team is doing and how they're performing here. Ryan, I don't know if you want me to go to another section. I know we got about 15 minutes and there's a few other slides that we need to go over.
Let's move forward.
All right, very good.
So I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, and thank you, Roger, for going through that. We are flexible to what a customer needs. So if a customer is only looking for QA software, we can deploy that for you. If a customer wants the comprehensive software tools for the voice logging and QA, we could do that. And we also will include as an option the ability for you to contract with us for independent QA. Like we talked about at the beginning, we've been doing this for over 10 years now. So we view ourselves as a very resourceful company with the technology and the resources, right? So we can do a very professional deployment of the QA templates, configure all the reports for you. But if you don't have the internal staff, or you would really like to get the experience and the unbiased approach from external party, we're the best in the country at that. We're working with some of the largest agencies throughout the U.S. Who lean on our team to help them meet their QA demands. So that's where our independent QA approach in using these human experts continues to evolve, and is in a really, really effective way to also gain trust with your team. So by eliminating that unbiased and knowing that these are very qualified individuals, we can become an extension of your team.
Exactly. And one thing we did with our independent QA was we're also helping other agencies by providing an additional source of income for some of these telecommunicators. They have the experience in QA and, you know, the credentials to perform this evaluation. So, you know, we hire people all over the US. They has this experience to work part-time for us. We don't want to take anyone from the agencies, okay? We don't actually, because we know a lot of the agencies out there are short-staffed. But this is another way, you know, that we can do to help, you know, call takers add an additional source of income to their household.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the types of people that we work with. If you can go to the, I think it's the next slide. So, Michael, to address your question from earlier and to expand on that and what Roger just said, these are, in a sense, you know, peers throughout the country who are helping fellow agencies, whether it's in their own state or county or in a state across the country. These are people with a passion for 911, a passion for quality assurance and quality improvement. But we're not just using, you know, entry-level operators to perform this work for us. In many cases, these are former QA supervisors or even center managers. We have a handful of contractors who were former CALIA 911 directors, you know, various certifications like APCO. So we are working with the best that this PSAP industry has to offer. And we believe that with these people being people that have sat in those seats before at one point in their career, they know what it's like to answer a 911 call. They know what it's like to supervise new employees or a center or be a director. That is bringing a whole lot of value added and knowledge to our programs so that you can lean on us as experts to evolve with you. So while this is tailored to your needs and your SOP, a lot of times our customers end up working with us and getting into the weeds of how they can improve their evaluation processes, how certain calls should be scored based on their SOP. And our people add a lot of value in their communication and their insight to help your program get off to a good start and be something that can be sustainable for years to come. So then from the security and compliance standpoint, we want to make sure that we're always addressing all the needs of the various PSAPs, whether they are on the, you know, open side or extremely restrictive side. There's a wide array of customers that we work with in public safety, but every single time you can rest assured our people are all maintaining their CJIS level 4 certifications. They do the FDLE security awareness training, and the applications that we're using are all CJIS compliant. Whether that's our own application that we utilize, or we are flexible enough to have a customer just add us as users to their approved remote access application. So we've addressed all security and compliance measurements that are required with agencies all throughout the United States. So one of the other really exciting things that we offer to really help make sure that the QA work that our customers are doing or that we're working in combination with them to do is that we have, you know, a way to really help have QA be a positive impact in their 911 center. I think gone are the days where people are viewing QA just as this, you're just catching me doing it bad. I think that as our industry has really grown over the last decade and being more familiar with doing QA, QI, we're getting better and better at this. But there's always more that we could do. And what we wanted to add as part of the program, whether you're using the software internally or partners with us, you then become part of an annual excellence awards program. So we have various awards here, and really it's just a mission to inspire high performance and have a culture of positive feedback and recognition within the 911 Center. So we have these really awesome challenge coins that we've created for various roles. The Stellar Award is something that is done ongoing throughout the year. That's often used, and people are nominated for that if they just have recently made tremendous improvements or if they just handled a really, really challenging incident. A lot of times, supervisors or their peers will want to nominate those people. Then we also have the other annual awards that will be able to recognize various levels within the PSAPs, such as operator, supervisor, and manager or director. So these are going to be fun ways at the end of every year, every calendar year, to get some well-deserved people the recognition. And then we have it throughout our website. Accompanying with the coin is also a letter from myself, just thanking them for their dedication to their work and their professionalism and the service that they're providing. And we're excited about this. Customers have come up to us at various conferences and said, "Hey, I got one of your Stellar coins," and shook our hand or gave us a hug and thanked us for that. And that made it feel 100% worth the efforts that we're putting into it.
Yeah, so I will encourage everyone here on this call. Our Stellar Award program is for everyone across the United States. So you can go to our website right now and just click nominate now. Obviously, it's not as easy. There's a set of questions. There's an evaluation and consideration criteria. So, but I highly encourage you, if you have, those employees that are consistently, having high QA, they do well, they are proactive and always, trying to assist others in your center, go here, do it. We want to recognize them, and we put a little story of why they received this nomination. So very good.
Absolutely. So then I think we just have a couple wrap up moments here. So we've talked about the presentation. What is really unique about us is how everything we showed you today, from products and services, is all from one singular company and using one singular solution.
Right.
So our approach is proven to work because we can consolidate applications and user access, having the various roles, and really do all this again from one simple, easy to use platform. So with one contract, you're also going to get access to the awards program, recognition program, if you will. And I think that when you combine really good technology with a really experienced company and their resources, that's when the best overall solution in program can come to fruition. And that's what really sets us apart from the options that are out there today, is we're working with one company that can implement the technology geared exactly towards you, and then use all of our resources to help you meet your goals and objectives for QA/QI.
And speaking of goals and objectives, we also noticed that when you're doing any of these other accreditations, there's nothing related to QA. So I don't know, Ryan, if you want to add to that.
/Absolutely, yeah. So we are aiming to publicly launch next year an accreditation that will be specifically geared towards QA/QI programs in recognizing officially those programs at PSAP. So it's going to follow the guidelines from APCO-NINA and really have some wiggle room for PSAPs to do a well-to-do QA/QI program internally or by using us as an external resource. And we're excited about what we're developing there for the core standards and categories, and really using technology to help streamline the process for accreditations. I know everybody would like to have accreditations, but can they be affordable? and can the labor that goes into it be manageable so that it's all worth everybody's time. That's what we aim to accomplish, is using the technology to automate a lot of the documentation and proofs that would be done, to obtain that accreditation and get the recognition that PSAPs really do deserve for having healthy QA programs that are making a difference.
Correct. I mean, all the data is already in the system, so it's not that you're going to have to scramble to get this paperwork and this other piece of information. Literally, all the data is already on the system. It's just a matter of checking a few boxes and pulling the information and ensuring that it's correct.
Everything that you see on our screen here is what I just essentially summarized, so I don't want to continue to belabor the point. If you just conclude on the final slide, Roger, we are thrilled to have this chance to meet those of you who joined the call today, and would 100% welcome the chance to just have one-on-one conversations with you, find out what you're currently doing today, where you see maybe some holes are, and hopefully we could address them. And if we could just have a quick conversation, maybe take a deeper dive into some of the things that we talked about, and see if our program and our service could be something that could really help relieve some pains in your agency when it comes to audio metadata capture and QA programs. So you got mine and Roger's personal emails here on the screen, also our phone number, our email. We'll just leave it up there if any of you want to jot it down and hit us up after the meeting today.
And again, I guess we'll open in a few more seconds for any questions you might have. Please, don't be shy.
Yeah, so we've been in business for over 30 years, and we are really thrilled about the chance to start working with more customers in the state of Colorado. Whether that's through direct relationships with you or leaning on our new partnership with Converge One, we're going to have some really awesome ways to do professional local implementations and collaborate for ongoing support with them. So Jennifer, thank you so much for inviting me and Roger. We were glad to be able to do this.
We're happy to have you. Michael Berry has his hand up.
Okay.
Sorry, you get
So,
to
Michael?
keep hearing from me. One last question for you guys. On-prem only, are you looking at cloud solutions? Do you have a hosted option? What does that look like for your future?
Yeah, so most of our deployments are still on-prem. However, if we are deploying this as a QA solution, and you want to really just kind of tackle your 911 with everything today, typically with Vesta, Carbine, Viper, and the others being IP based, we do have the ability to do a virtual server for those instances. Where we get stuck with on-prem is when we have other various integrations, like with Motorola or your radio consoles. So we are kind of dependent on the environment, but flexible, given what the equipment is.
Yeah, in some instances we have done base, but they still need to have some sort of virtual machine because they have analog radios or something of that nature. So like Ryan said, it's just more based on your environment.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. I appreciate your guys' time today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Well,
Michael.
I will echo that. Thank you guys so much for this informative lunch and learn. We appreciate your time. And I'll throw it open one last call for questions. All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys. And this will be posted up on our YouTube channel, and we'll see you all on the next one. Thanks so much.
thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody, and thank you, Jennifer.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.